All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back to the channel. So Cain Velasquez has put out a statement. He wrote it himself. It's out on social media, and it's a very notable statement for a multitude of reasons. Now, I will be honest with you. I really wish that my brain was working at a higher capacity than it is right now. I like to do justice or my best work when I'm talking about Cain. I am extremely brain dead right now. I was in Jacksonville for 273. I was in Miami for the Bitcoin conference before that. I was up extremely late. And but I'm going to do my best here because he deserves it and it's important. So he put out a statement, and I'm going to read that to you, and then I'm going to break it out into the two sections that it's in, because there are basically two main things that he's trying to communicate, and I'm going to kind of put some color behind that and then emphasize a main part of his message. So this is what he said. He said, "To everyone that has expressed your support, my family and I will never be able to thank you enough. From the bottom of our hearts and the depths of our souls, we are forever grateful for your love. Your selfless gestures and kind words have given me strength in my darkest times. This story is complex and slowly unraveling as we speak. To the true victims of this case, may God give you the strength to come forward. Though it is most difficult to relive the pain that has happened to you, in speaking the truth, justice will be served and your own true healing will start. I will never stop helping or loving my community and all of you. Thank you for loving me, Cain Velasquez." So the first part, of course, is in expressing gratitude to everyone who's helped. And I will do the same thing. Like, obviously, I've done whatever I could to help. I've donated to his family. I did some videos with the Marshall and New guys, because they have been extraordinarily generous with Cain's family. And yeah, I mean, I'll thank everybody else just, on his behalf with him. But the other part is very interesting, right? So he said this story is complex and slowly unraveling as we speak. To the true victims of this case, may God give you the strength to come forward, though it is most difficult to relive, yada, yada, yada. So, like, bottom line, other victims is what he said, right? And he's asking them to come forward. So here's what I'll say about that. Right. I first of all, I'm sure that he's right. These things never happen in a vacuum, man. Like when there's a person who puts hands on a kid, you dig under the hood a little bit. That kid's not special, man. And that's the kid's special. Just the kid's not special in that regard. These people are broken. They're predators, man. Okay, like their wiring for what they're attracted to is broken. And what they're attracted to are a group of people that are, equivalent to being mentally handicapped because they're children. They don't have any idea. Like, they have no idea what's going on. Adult says something, they do it. Here, come in here. They're like, okay. These people are like the people who are wired. Like, again, I'm not going to get into what I think we should do with them again. But the bottom line is the likelihood that this is a single incident and there aren't a bunch of other people out there, almost impossible, right? Like, literally almost impossible. And so, like, I want to say you have to come out. Like, you have to come out and do this. But I mean, I don't know if it's going to help Cain. I have no idea whether that helps Cain or not. I think that Cain's defense is relatively simple. Okay. And it comes down to his own kid and him finding out that someone had victimized his child, him doing the right thing, taking him to the police. We talked about this. And then the police and the system failing. I mean, the police didn't fail. The system failed. They let the guy go. And so he probably was sitting on the house. I've said this before too, but in case you guys missed it, my hypothesis of what happened is the guy gets let go. Cain's wife finds out, or Cain finds out. They have a conversation, and it's like, well, if they're not going to help, what are you going to do? He's probably sitting on the house, would be my guess. Because my whole thing is like, how does he find them in a car? If he's chasing them in a car, he must have been sitting outside of their house, wondering, just thinking like, what am I going to do here? And then the guy leaves, and he starts following him. And then the guy realizes it's Cain following him, and they start to evade, whatever. But like, his defense is temporary insanity, right? Or some kind of like crime of passion. I don't know the laws that well in terms of what the details on that stuff is, but, or are. But if more victims come out to really make it crystal clear what kind of predator this guy was, it certainly can't hurt Cain. But also, it'll make sure that this guy gets put exactly where he belongs, right? That's the thing that's getting lost here. Everybody's talking about Cain, and it's like, oh, well, look at what he did. Did what he do? Was it right? Was it wrong? Was it dirt? At the end of the day, you've got a person who is at least, barring some kind of enormous misunderstanding that seems basically impossible, a predator. And in order to make sure the predator goes where they go, you need people to come out and say, yeah, this happened to me also. That's how all of these things end. I just watched this documentary on this creep, like UK guy, like the guy in the UK whose name is escaping me. I'll look it up while we're talking. Who was like one of the most famous entertainers in England. I'm sure that a lot of people already know who I'm talking about, and they're all, bro, how do you not remember this guy's name? I literally just watched this too. Like just watched it. Jimmy Savile, right? This complete creep, Jimmy Savile, who anyone could have looked at and been like, there's something wrong with this guy, But he was like incredibly famous, and they acted like he was like a ladies' man. I looked, I'm like, dude, this is not a ladies' man. There's something wrong with this guy. And of course, he was a diddler, a serious diddler forever. And he never got, the thing that's infuriating is it never came out until after he was dead. He got away with it his whole life. Now, things were building up around him when he was like in his 80s. He'd been doing it forever. And then it comes out, and like when he's dead, he doesn't have to ever pay for it. That can't happen, dude. Like when these guys, like this kind of thing, people need to come out. Like, I hate to say this like to a victim, because I understand what it must be like to live with that. But if you don't come out, what do you think happens? Like once you know that a person is that, if you don't come out, okay, especially when there's blood in the water. It's one thing if no one's ever said anything about it, right? Like if there's the person who victimized you, no one's ever said anything about it. And you're just like, I don't know, like maybe this happened to me, or maybe I misunderstood or whatever. That's one thing. But if it happened to you and there's blood in the water and there are people talking about that person that did it to you, then if you don't come out, it's your responsibility if they do it to other people, because you could have made sure that they got put down, or at least locked away, put down if things were done correctly, right? But locked away. If you keep that secret, and there's like 50 of you that keep that secret, and the guy gets 2 years when he should have gotten 50, that's your fault. I mean, seriously, that's your fault. So you need to like suck it up. Look at what happened to Larry Nassar. That guy was able to operate forever because no one would ever, like, I mean, obviously he had a lot of enablers. But, like, get that fucking guy off the street. And also give Cain a better chance of fighting this thing, because he deserves it. Anyway, that's what I got.